Hi everyone, I'm James. This is Tristan. This is Isla, and this is Kevin. Professionalism in hospitality is extremely important, and in my eyes, professionalism is how employees act to their management, each other, and most importantly, the customers. Professionalism can dictate a lot of things for your company. It's essentially the culture and how it's ran. That can dictate customer spending, how much product is sold, longevity, employee retention. All of these things relate to how your company is ran, how the property is, how high are its standards, are you helping people, are you helping each other? All of these things are super important. As a group, we went to the Pigskin Bar and Grill, specifically the grill because we were hungry, and Isla can tell us about what happened.
Yep. So Tristan was the first to arrive, and he told the waiter that there was more people coming. So she said he could sit wherever. When the rest of us arrived, it was around 7:30, and they weren't that busy. We sat there for 45 minutes, and we never received a menu, and the waiter never came. So Tristan and Kevin, they decided to go to the bar and get some drinks, and when they were finished, we just left because the service was so bad that we didn't even want to try the food anymore.
Jensen, our other colleague, she had a kind of a similar experience. We came on a really slow night, so there weren't many servers. There was only one bartender. She came on a more busier night, so when she walked in, a lot of the employees ignored her. They didn't really come in and ask her seat yourself or all these things that employees should be doing. It ended up taking her about 45 minutes to get food and get out, which isn't terrible, but she only saw her server once or twice. They didn't come over to check on her or anything. When the time came, she just kind of threw her checks, threw the checks on the middle of the table, said a brief thank you and left, which didn't sound like a super great experience. So Kevin, you want to build on that?
From my point of view, because I've been a server in a restaurant for many years, ever since I could be able to I notice the small things that people do when you're not busy and the stuff that needs to be done when people are coming in. So I felt like as soon as I walked in, I noticed that the one server really didn't care that we were there, and she was off doing all the smaller things like wiping down menus and dusting signs in the restaurant. Not to say that cleaning stuff like that isn't important, but taking care of the guests that walked in should be more important. So after about 15, 20 minutes of just sitting there waiting to be greeted, me and Tristan decided to go up to the bar, and the bartender had been stocking the bar all night, so she didn't come over right away. But once she noticed that, she came over and she got our drinks made well and all that stuff. So from my perspective, it seemed like they were focusing much more on the bar aspect other than the bar and grill. Even though they had a so-called restaurant and they had a server there, they still seemed to only focus on the drink aspect.
Tristan?
So yeah, I'll take over. I agree with a lot of what Kevin was saying. I've been working in restaurants for a long time as well, and you can always notice when servers either aren't expecting much tips from people or just aren't really expecting to do much of anything through a shift. And she was showing all those signs. When I arrived about 7:20ish, she was wiping down tables and sweeping the floors. I waited for maybe about 5 minutes, and then she noticed me and asked, I didn't know if she was supposed to sit with me or not. And talking to her, she said, just sit wherever. And I sat down and started waiting. When these guys arrived, she didn't even take notice of them at all. And so yeah, there was only one server, one bartender, never saw a manager or anything like that. There was no hostess, which frankly, slow nights, I can kind of understand that, but it was still kind of strange. And yeah, we never spoke to her again, never got a menu, never were offered food. So on a slower night like that, you kind of expect menus to be shoved in your hands, since they're not going to be making much from alcohol, especially on a weekday. Because this was a Monday night we went in.
Yeah.
This was a Monday night we went in, so you'd kind of expect them to be looking to make more out of food rather than alcohol. But in the end, Kevin and I got drinks. They were well made. She was very knowledgeable, the bartender. Knew how to mix stuff, and she was trying to upsell us with chasers and all that sort of thing. But so she did well, but realistically, poor service all around, and I wouldn't want to eat there.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer, the whole thing. I've never had their food up until now, so
Still have
Still
it.
haven't
Still
had
have
it.
all right. Thanks everybody.